but there's no basis in supply and demand reality. It is not capitalism. It is not free market. It is not competitive, and it does not involve risk. It's all lies and scams, and it's frustrating to people. I'm tired of watching it. This thing has to come to a head. Humanity needs relief. Stop oppressing the people. Labor is every nation's single most valuable asset. Let's establish that fact right here and now. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, gets done without labor. And often that labor is common and uneducated. Let's be honest with ourselves. Okay, I'm not taking it away from anybody that wants to get all the education they want. If that's their thing, man, that's fine. Okay, but you know what? If you're unethical, I've got no regard for you. If your great learning doesn't involve basic moral fiber, an ethical backbone, where you say, I want to treat my brothers and sisters, which is your fellow human being, humanity, the way I want to be treated. And that realizing there's a lot of commonalities there. I mean, we all basically want the same things. We don't want to worry about where our next meal is coming from. We don't want to worry about the roof under our heads being taken away, the roof over our head. No, we don't want to worry about these basic, essential human needs. We've got enough things to deal with. Look at the accidents out there. There's nothing, sound currency isn't going to help with that. Just right here in this area, in the adjoining county, yesterday we had a terrible accident involving a tour bus and 44 students, high school students, low-income students that were going to Eureka University of Humboldt in Eureka area. And this bus, apparently a Federal Express delivery truck, big semi-truck, tractor trailer, went across the median on Interstate 5, which runs north and south, and it was headed south, and it had a collision with this tour bus, killing at least 9 of the people on the bus, and most of them students. And it's horrific. So, having economic justice is not going to fix all our problems, but that's the kind of stuff we as humans have to deal with. We have to deal with diseases. My dad is struggling with cancer right now. Thank God he's been doing better in the last week. And I mean that with every fiber of my being. But, this is the kind of stuff we have to contend with. We have to contend with predation. We have to contend with natural disasters. We have to contend with death. Life's hard enough. But we shouldn't have to defend ourselves against a bunch of monsters out there trying to run roughshod over our lives, trying to take advantage of the meek, of the righteous people out there, people that aren't lazy. Hey, look, if we've got economic problems out there because people are being lazy en masse, then I say, like Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake, okay? But if it's not based on laziness, if we've got a willing workforce out there, signed, sealed, and delivered, ready to go, man, at any given time, doing any job out there, then you know what? Take care of people. Let them share in the wealth of the nation, the wealth of this planet. It exists. It's there. It belongs to all of us. If this planet, if you believe in God, then you believe that this planet belongs to God. If you believe in God, you believe we're like His children. We're His creatures at least. Okay, and very, very intelligent creatures with unlimited potential, unlimited imagination. Okay, then you've got to understand that in order to be really honest, ruthlessly honest and fair, we've got to understand, establish our economic reality at birth. You're born rich into a voluntary world where you're free. You serve because you damn well want to, and nothing's going to stop you from expressing your talents, from not being a self-serving pile of you-know-what. Okay? That's the reality I'm talking about out there. See, we've all gotten too used to believing that, you've got to jump through these hoops. You've got to go and get a good education, and you've got to work really hard and do this, and then you'll have success. Then you'll have prosperity. But it's bull, okay? Because the hardest working people out there are not treated fairly. Okay? They're not getting ahead. And it's been a long time since they were getting ahead. And the point is that there shouldn't be any hoops to jump through. But we're also indoctrinated, inculcated into believing that this is right, this is the way it works, is that you should have to. You've got to really try hard, work hard, put in a lot of hours, be really dedicated, and you'll succeed, you'll get ahead, but it's bull. And so many people are doing jobs day in and day out, 9 to 5, and they despise their job, they hate their jobs, they've got horrible commutes, and they're just doing it purely for the money, purely for the security, that money that drives them on, that fear, that financial insecurity just drives them on, okay, and it's disgusting, and they're not doing what they want to do with their lives. And it makes me sick to my stomach to have to witness this. Our rulers are illegitimate. We've got to fundamentally understand that. They're a bunch of snot-nosed, spoiled brats, just a gaggle of murderous, lying, cheating, thieving thugs. That's who's running this scene. And they're getting mad. You know why? Because they know their days are numbered. They know they're going down. They know they've gone way over the top. They know they've pushed the envelope way too far. Okay, and they know that what's going to happen is that this survivor class that's rising up and that's saying, hell no, you know what? I don't only have a right to survive, I've got an obligation to survive. And by gosh, if God has given me the wherewithal to do that, I'm going to use every fiber of my being to do so. And that's what it comes down to. And it's not about money, it's about the things that God provided on this earth, the food that God provided, the flora and the fauna that God provided on this earth. Those are the things I need to survive. I need clean drinking water. I need food. I need shelter, and I need the air I breathe, and that's it. Even the clothes are optional. Here in California, there's been a whole lot of discussion about water rationing. People are very nervous about the drought that we've been having, even though we've gotten a considerable amount of rain this past winter and into the spring a little. But you know what? That's all I hear. We got ration water, ration water. Now, why? We can understand, well, it's an essential human need. It's vital for humanity to have water. Do you ever hear that about housing? Not a damn whisper about housing. People are dying out in the cold every day of the week around this country, and it sickens me. Okay? We don't talk about that. We don't talk about people going hungry and how we should ration food so everybody on earth can have some, how there'd be plenty if we shared. No. And let's for a moment, let's take an inventory of this planet. Let's discuss this national debt that's constantly being shoved down our throats, okay? Let's look at that for a minute. Let's ask ourselves, let's go back 200 years and let's examine the wealth of America. Let's examine all the infrastructure that existed 200 years ago, railways, superhighways. What was there then? Buildings, bridges, factories, machinery in the factories that was making products, robotics, automation. This is industrialization. And again, the purpose is to supply a superfluity, an excess, so that there can be a rising tide of prosperity. That's the whole idea, to make our work easier. And people are worried, oh, the unemployment, what are we going to do? Well, you ever heard of rationing the work, maybe? And just facing the reality, facing the music, and saying, hey, if there's not enough jobs, why does that have to be a bad thing? Can't you find something else to do with your life? But you'll say, wait a minute, I got to hold 2 or 3 jobs just to keep my head above water. I get it. But you got to think about others. You might be strong enough to hold 2 or 3 jobs for the rest of your life, or until you're old enough to retire. Okay, but a lot of people aren't. And what's your attitude about those people? Is your attitude in line with God? Are you on the side of humanity or inhumanity? Each one of us is going to stand or fall on our own. And we're going to be accountable to one. Our conscience, even if it's just realizing that you have a connection to God in your conscience. And you're going to have to answer for your belief system, for divorcing yourself from your fellow man. For whatever reason you've rationalized and justified doing so in your mind, it better be right and proper, and it better make sense. Because I can't do it. Okay, I can see the end from the beginning. You can too. I can say to myself, wait a minute, I'm pretty poor right now, but if you put me on a worldwide scale, I'm actually in the upper half probably. Okay? But other people aren't. and they're really suffering, and they need relief, and I've got to care about them. And the idea that, well, I just got to care about old number one, and I've got to care about prosperity for me and my kids, something to leave them. Well, I can't do it. Poverty around me is exploding, and people are living in more and more misery. Suicides are at like record levels in this country, and so much of that is financial fear, desperation. Financial issues are related to every facet of our lives. Think how much time every one of us thinks about money every day. Got to go make money. Got to pay the bills, right? I mean, we're just inundated with this monetary-based reality that is just a charade from the pit of hell. This is the way Satan keeps control over us. And even if you don't believe there's a literal devil, it's this spirit of inhumanity that says you got to just look after old number one. It's that social Darwinism that's taught in our colleges and universities. This idea that the earth's overpopulated and that these are the altruistic ones, these elitists, these Illuminati class, these hypocrites, these murderous gaggle of lying, cheating, stealing thugs, that these people know they're the good guys. They're trying to save the earth. So they want to depopulate it. Over 85% of us they want to get rid of. And these are the good guys. They're altruistic. They're the benevolent ones, huh? That's what they want us to believe. So they're doing things like they're doing out there in Nevada, in Clark County, to Cliven Bundy and his family by stealing his ranch land, destroying the watering holes they have for this cattle, and it's disgusting, okay? And this is the kind of thing that's going on. They're pushing and pushing and pushing. They want violence, but they want to control it so they can continue to dominate us, okay? We can't do that. We can't. We've got to do it like Jesus said. If your enemy slaps you on one cheek, turn to him the other one. So we can't even fight back after they fire the first shot or the second shot. We've got to expose their evil before the whole world. We've got to rally, get the whole planet on our side and say, preserve the American culture, the American way of life. And these people, these Bureau of Land Management officials, have no stinking business interfering with the liberty. These people have been living off the land for hundreds of years. And you go, no right to do this. Okay? No right to do what you're doing out there. Stop it. We've got to stop. We've got to, just like spoiled brats, children. You've got to stand up to it just for their own good. You've got to get in their face and tell them how it's going to be. Not the way they're telling you it's going to be because somebody handed it down to them and they're parroting out to you. Okay? You've got to say, bull. I'm an environmentalist. I care about this planet. I read my Bible. I know what it says. Those that destroy the earth, the Lord will destroy them. I care. I recycle. And if I could put water in my gas tank, I would. And by now I could. Okay? If it wasn't a conflict of interest to solve problems. Fundamentally understand it is a conflict of interest to solve problems. You name a problem, any problem, and I'll show you how you're stepping on people's toes in terms of their job security. Okay? Cancer, a cure for cancer. How many people are employed in cancer treatments? How many people are employed in cancer research? The national debt. Do you really think the Federal Reserve Bank or any of its minions thereof want the nation out of debt? Who's paying that debt? The rich sure aren't. They hire an attorney for a fraction of the price to get them off paying their taxes. And those taxes people are paying, mostly the poor and the middle class, is going just to pay the debt, the interest on the debt maintenance. Do you understand what they're doing? And then they act like California's in the black, and they talk about, you know, the superfluous income they've got from the state budget. So we're going to spend it here and there and the next place. We're giving raises and doing this and that. And these Congress, they vote themselves a raise. What the hell do they care what the cost of living does? As long as they can raise their pay to match it and then a lot more for safe measure. This is the kind of disgusting stuff that's going on. Okay, name another problem. Poverty, huge problem. Right there is the root. Like Jesus said, the root of all evil is love of money. This competing God. Understand the power to affect our minds and our hearts and to make us crave and want that God, that love, that security, that sense of security, that monetary security. It's powerful. It affects me. And if you don't think it affects you, you're